Tonight on KGW News, on alert for flooding and landslides.
I'm glad that they were out here looking because, we have a whole forest right here.
The ounce of prevention some hope will keep damage at bay as another round of heavy rain moves our way. Plus,
it's causing pain, misery, and suffering.
Why hundreds of local patients are having surgeries delayed for months. And it's an idea that would put money from all those unused gift cards to good use. Then later, Oregon's own Bo Nix gets the phone call he's been waiting for. We start tonight with another heavy dose of rain on the way. Rivers and creeks are set to rise even further, and waterlogged hillsides are at risk of slides. We'll show you how some residents and city crews are preparing for that. But first, let's get to Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino for a look at what we can expect. Matt.
Thanks so much, China. Yeah, we haven't had much rain tonight, which is great because every hour we don't get heavy rain, or especially no rain, gives the rivers, the creeks, the streams time to recede a little bit, and every little bit helps. The real story tonight, because it hasn't rained a whole lot, is the temperature. Not only was it warm today, it's gotten warmer. We're up to 67 degrees right now. That sets a new all-time record for the month of December in Portland, breaking the old record of 65, which we tied up till about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now we've broken it by 2 degrees. This is really, really amazing. South winds at 14, the fact that it's not raining, all contributing to the fact that we've had these incredibly warm temperatures. 63 in Hillsborough. Look at Troutdale. They've warmed up to 60. It's almost 70 degrees in Troutdale right now. This is really, really wild that we're seeing numbers this high. 60 at Astoria, and there is heavy rain too on the coast, but we're not seeing much in the valleys, which is one of the reasons why we've warmed up so weirdly. Right now, look at the rain on the coast of Washington and the north coast of Oregon. It has been heavy. Astoria is now up to 86 of an inch, but as we go farther north, look at this. We're up to 3.93, nearly 4 inches of rain just since midnight on the Olympic Peninsula. Clearly, yes, I know they get a lot of rain up there, but this is less than 2 inches earlier this afternoon. It has just been dumping. They began at like a half an inch an hour up on that part of the coast, and that heavy rain band will be sagging south into Oregon as we go into the overnight hours and during the daytime hours tomorrow. 3-day rainfall total is also impressive. We're pushing 10 inches in the Bull Run up on Mount Hood. Speaking of Mount Hood, warm up there too. Temperatures at 44. And before the rain started, they had 33 inches of new snow at Timberline. The snow will come back, but not before we get more rain. That's 1.74 inches by 8 o'clock tomorrow night. If we run this out even farther, another 3 inches by Wednesday afternoon. Yes, we're under a flood advisory because of all the heavy rain too. Also, we'll take a look at our wettest months ever in December in Portland a little bit later on. But a new record high for the month, 67. That's our current temperature. Also a record warm low of 56. Heavy rain after midnight into tomorrow morning. The commute's going to be wet. Snow back in the passes of the Cascades later this week. China, more on all of this in a bit. Back to you.
Matt, thank you. And we have already seen dangerous water conditions in the area. A person was swept away this morning in Johnson Creek. The creek is running very fast, and the strong current pulled the person away too quickly for firefighters to save them. The crew also reported lots of debris like tree limbs that made the mission dangerous. They believe the person may have been swept away on a piece of outdoor furniture that was right next to the creek. Crews will be out at daylight tomorrow to try to find their body. First responders are warning everyone to be aware of the rising river levels over the next few days. And street flooding and landslides are also concerned with the heavy rain. Catherine Cook went to check out what the city of Portland and neighbors are doing to prevent problems.
Death, taxes, and the leaves on Debbie Kay's Northwest Portland Street.
I call them applesauce, and they're very slick and hard to drive in.
The trees that drop these leaves grow in Forest Park, just 20 feet away. On Wednesday, leaf pickup crews will be by to haul them off. Debbie's raking them a foot away from the curb to help keep drains clear.
If the drains aren't clear, then water backs up. I have one neighbor who has been flooded by drains as far away as that one, and he lives down there. It gets very saturated.
Besides leaf pickups, the city of Portland is watching out for potential landslides. On Monday, crews with PBOT were out here in the West Hills looking for rain-soaked soil, slide risks, and other areas that could use preventative maintenance.
We're relieved to see that there's no cause for concern right now.
Dylan Rivera with PBOT says that could change. With heavy, relentless rain in the forecast, he's concerned that high elevation corridors could look much differently in a matter of days. It's why crews are clearing storm drains and culverts that could make the problem worse.
The day-to-day toll of the saturation is what could make those hillsides different tomorrow or in a couple days than they have been today.
For further flood prevention, PBOT set up 3 free sandbag stations around the city. That includes this one at Lents Park. And there's a 24/7 dispatch line to report landslides that are blocking streets or sidewalks but are not an immediate threat to public safety. That number is 503-823-1700. Meanwhile, over on Debbie Kay's street, it's back to raking and hoping
that people will have cleared their drains so that we don't have flooding.
In Northwest Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And when we head into more winter weather, there's good news for drivers. Today, Governor Tina Kotek announced a $19 million funding boost for ODOT. The Transportation Department says that will allow them to keep winter road maintenance at the same level for the next few years. The agency previously said budget shortages would result in winter service reductions, such as less frequent plowing and de-icing treatment.
It does allow us to immediately restore overtime, so we are going to be able to have more snowplows out on the road over the day. So people will be able to plow longer hours. They'll be able to respond to incidents for more hours through the day. And we'll be able to keep those winter maintenance service levels higher than they would have been.
However, ODOT tells KGW the new funding will not go toward graffiti removal efforts on highway signs in the Portland Metro. And ODOT will still be looking for a more permanent change in funding, citing gas tax revenue that's expected to fall as more people switch to electric vehicles. We learned more today about a devastating shooting that left 5 members of the same family dead inside a Clark County home. Authorities now say a man killed his wife, 2 adult daughters, his brother, then turned the gun on himself. The sheriff's office is still working to notify extended families, so they're not releasing the victims' identities. They were all found in a home on Northeast 92nd Street yesterday afternoon. A relative in Seattle got a text from the suspect saying he had harmed people in the home. He then called police to check on the family, and they made the discovery. If you or someone you know is in crisis, know that there is help. You can call or text 988 on any phone. It'll connect you to a suicide prevention crisis center and a trained counselor. And to get you caught up on other headlines tonight, police in Gresham are investigating a shooting that killed 1 person and injured 2 others. It happened yesterday afternoon near Northeast 165th and Gleason. Officers found 2 people there had been shot. Another person was also hurt. All 3 were taken to the hospital. That's where one of them died. Detectives are asking anyone who may have seen what happened to come forward. A judge denied motions that would have dismissed a federal civil rights lawsuit filed by Black descendants of Portland's Albina district. According to the Oregonian, the suit alleges the city of Portland and Emmanuel Hospital all conspired to their part mostly Black community more than 50 years ago. More than 150 families were forced from their homes for a hospital expansion that never actually happened. The defendants argued that the people suing did not suffer direct harm and the statute of limitations had run out. But a judge disagreed with those arguments, allowing the lawsuit to go forward. New details tonight about Alaska Airlines' plan to buy a rival carrier for $1.9 billion. Alaska's CEO says he approached the Hawaiian Airlines CEO a few months ago with a proposal to buy Hawaiian. They announced the deal yesterday. Both companies will maintain their brands after the merge. In fact, federal regulators still have to weigh in on the deal, which is expected to take up to a year and a half to close. Will Oregon backpedal on the measure that decriminalized personal drug use? A legislative committee tasked with answering that question met again in Salem today and heard some compelling testimony. Pat Doris took a closer look on the story.
The bipartisan group of lawmakers is considering changes to Measure 110 ahead of next year's short session, which starts in February. One of those changes that many people are pushing for is recriminalizing drug use, at least to some degree. Leaders from several Oregon cities, even outside of Portland, spoke about what they're seeing.
But what we've seen likely as a direct result of Measure 110 is the open drug use in public spaces, places like our parks, transit centers, public libraries, making these areas feel very unsafe. We've seen increased theft, property and person crimes, and other crimes related to behaviors of individuals suffering from addiction. Those individuals who are desperate to acquire resources to support their addiction. Our law enforcement tells us they no longer have the tools they need to keep our community safe.
The committee heard proposals for a different kind of enforcement that would give people the option of avoiding jail by going into treatment. At the same time, plenty of people at the Capitol said that recriminalizing drug use would be a step back, and that Measure 110 has had a positive impact on the work they do battling addiction.
With Measure 110 funding us at Oregon Change Clinic, we've been able to substantially expand services. We've remodeled a dilapidated motel in Portland, providing 6 months of intensive outpatient treatment for those in our housing. Our certified recovery mentors run that housing. As people graduate, they tend to have employment. They've learned skills. They are then helped into long-term housing.
The committee has not made any official decision yet about what, if anything, they're going to do about Measure 110. House Republicans did release a statement following the meeting that showed they want to see a ban on public use of hard drugs and mandatory treatment for those arrested.
And you can watch the story each weekday at 6:30 here on KGW for more in-depth looks into big issues affecting our community.